Okay, so let us dive into Chapter 3 with Robo-Ky. I had a thought while I had stepped away. Lucy's 4-star, which is interesting. I thought her menu would have bumped her up, actually. Like, because she can bring up, like, a menu to, like, put debuffs on you. And I thought that would have bumped that down to, like, 3. But even then, having a guest character as a 4-star difficulty is kind of interesting to me. I would have thought they would have made her easy just because she's a guest character, and I feel like making a guest character too complicated would cause problems.
So, why are you strolling around aimlessly?
I was enjoying my new rental body.
I need more than an impression to know for sure. Prove who you've become with your blade.
Oh! Do you have to do this every time? Duel 1.
Again, a genuinely fascinating dynamic with these two. Because you have Robo-Ky, who's just kind of like the opposite, basically. Again, it actually makes sense, because I don't think Robo-Ky really had much of an individual personality in X and X2, but I think it was Accent Core that kind of established this particular Robo-Ky being very different. Again, part of me almost considered doing like a retrospective for Robo-Ky. The two reasons were, it would be one game. It would be Accent Core. That's the only other game with a story mode for Robo-Ky. And yeah, as a result, I just decided to opt out. And also because I'm not as attached to Robo-Ky. The reason why I did the full retrospectives for Dizzy and Jam is because Dizzy is my current favorite, and Jam was my old main. So those are the two I have the most time put into. That's also why I didn't do one for Venom, it's just like going through the work of like translating his story. Because even though there are translations out there, a lot of them have problems. Like I know enough Japanese to spot like a few translations where a lot of liberties were taken, bizarrely enough, because like the main source is like an old game FAQs post from like forever ago, so there's definitely some choices.
I'm sorry. I suppose you're not lying.
Who do you think you are?
No one you're bound to anymore. You're your own man now. Unless you pick a fight, for old time's sake.
Like I've got any time to waste on you. Forget you, chum. No more games. I'm a busy robot. I sell bread, punish the deserving, lend my tangerine investment bank, procure parts, all while renting a body so I can find a wife.
Some things never change. But I should learn a thing or two from you. What makes a human human? Hard to imagine learning that from you. And yet, either way, I'm glad we got to talk. Well, I'll see you around.
Duh. He's like a nosy mom with no respect for privacy. Now then, to check on what that was all about.
Again, like Robo-Ky's story is weirdly like poignant in some ways. Like what it means to be human. It's like, damn, that kind of hits a certain way. In a way I wasn't expecting from this character.
Mankind knew that they cannot change.
Anyway, Unica, I didn't mean to skip that. I forgot I had the back buttons on this controller mapped for Rhythm Heaven. So oopsie, we don't get to see that intro, I guess. My bad. That's the problem with like being fidgety, is sometimes I'll just hit buttons without meaning to. It probably would be very stock dialogue. I don't feel like there'd be anything between these two. But I may be wrong, so oopsie.
Sorry, but a man was do what a man would.
So yeah, I like how, again, a lot of Strive's story involves closure in different ways, like various characters and sets of characters finding closure in different aspects. Again, Soul and Jacko is a good example of that. obviously, like, Dizzy being the queen hits a certain way. Bridget speaks for herself. Yuna also kind of speaks for herself. But just, like, kind of, in this case, 20 years of, like, in-game story about this rivalry between Robo-Ky and Kai, and kind of, like, putting a little nice little pin on it. That's not the right expression. Put a pin on it means, like, put it off, I think.
Would you like to continue?
Genuinely, it's like I can't remember the expression I would use for that. Yeah, I felt bad for skipping the intro by accident. Anyway, Gold Lewis again. Yeah, I just need to keep my, like, ring fingers away from the buttons on the controller. I was also adjusting a setting on this controller because this has, like, adjustable trigger depth, and one was set to not a full press, which for some reason I like full press, even though it's objectively not good for a fighting game where you need fast pull rate. So yeah, I don't know why I actually like it that way.
I'll beat the tears out of you. Gotta break even.
Robo-Ky versus Gold Lewis. Duel 1.
Yeah, Testament also is a character who just basically finds closure for literally stuff going back to Guilty Gear like Guilty Gear 1 actually, because a lot of their plot in most of the series is them trying to find closure for like helping to resurrect justice and causing a ton of shit in that plan. So like it's genuinely fascinating to me. It's very interesting. Yeah, resolving all like the, you know, centuries-long rivalry between Soul and Asuka, because that goes back to when they were human, basically. When, like, Arya was still alive. I'm trying to think of other examples. Some, like, you know, Gold Lewis doesn't, and Giovanna don't really have a whole lot going on, I feel, just because they're the newbies. They don't have all the, like, decades of in-lore baggage to kind of sort through. But, like, for a lot of the returning characters, I do like how they are resolving, like, lingering plot threads of these characters, again, to the point where it's like, it kind of makes sense that it feels like Guilty Gear, as a franchise, is sort of moving away. Like, it almost feels like this was meant to be the last major Guilty Gear. It's the Fire Emblem Awakening of Guilty Gear, for lack of a better analogy, where they just kind of wanted to do like a little celebratory game, because like Awakening has a lot of fan service, but it ended up being kind of also a last-ditch effort to break into the mainstream. And it worked in both cases. Strive also partly blew up because, one, it did simplify things from like Xrd, which is very convoluted. I think Xrd actually in some ways plays better, but it is not necessarily the most newbie friendly. The other issue is Lockdown, actually, because this game was like summer 2021 and like majors still weren't really happening in person. So a lot of various tournaments were trying to find games that had good online, because they kind of couldn't do like online tournaments of like Smash Ultimate, because that game's online is not consistent enough. And even like I think Tekken 7 and like Street Fighter 5 were a little bit rocky, even though I think SF5 did use rollback. It just wasn't like great rollback from what I recall. I may be wrong on that. I may be thinking of MVCI, actually. Either way, it is a case of like, this game kind of broke into the mainstream because people wanted a fighting game to play during lockdown. Mind you, now that's not as much of an issue because Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 exist, but even those games are not like blowing up as much as I would have expected. Like, looking at entry numbers for like Strive, it's still doing decently well for a 6-year-old fighting, or like a 5 or 6-year-old fighting game. Like, it's kind of remarkable how well Strive is done for itself. And again, it doesn't feel like they expected it either, because the way they're trying to like tie up all the loose ends, put a bow on it. Put a bow on it, that's what I was looking for, not put a pin in it. Yeah, just wrap up everything. It kind of felt like this was supposed to be the last Guilty Gear. Whether it will be remains to be seen, if it'll just go in a different direction. Because, like, in the story, there's now the problem of Soul doesn't have, like, powers. So that's complicated for his moveset if they just kind of make him more of the, like, cliff roll. But, like, he's still strong in universe, he's still very powerful, but he's not as, like, OP as he was in, like, the older games. Though I do think there is a legitimate argument if you introduce time travel. You could bring back Order Soul to kind of fill the gap of Soul's old playstyle. So that is something I actually see them doing if there is another Guilty Gear where Soul is depowered a bit.
Robo-Ky wins.
And again, there's enough time travel that you can explain it. Oh, hi Jacko. But yeah, like focusing more on Sin and Eunuch I don't think will be as successful, so I think Kai and Soul will still be around. Dizzy, unfortunately, and like Bridget, they're gonna be forever relegated to DLC, because these characters make too much money, and I've resigned myself to that fate of like, these will always be DLC characters.
Trick or treat.
This is the problem with liking popular characters, is they'll often be DLC. What the hell? He's hitting on all the ladies. Ow. Guess who forgot how to fight Jacko, apparently. Oh, again, I'm trying to do the, like, counter. But I can't get the timing, and I keep accidentally bursting, too. Which is not what I mean to do. Alright. Ow. It's like, I don't know what Jacko is gonna play like in a future game. Like I don't even know if she does she have the halo in the intro? Like in the round start intro that they added? I don't remember. But yeah, I feel like someday we will get a new Guilty Gear, but again, it does feel like they were trying to kind of tie up loose ends in this game. It's just, I don't know where else they go from here, I guess is the main issue I'm having. What move am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting a move somewhere. There's that. I'm not using normals enough, to be honest. So the move I'm actually... Oh, good, at least in Driver. Ow. Nope, that was not what I meant to do. Well, I mean, it worked. This is such a good mix-up that even I didn't know it was coming.
Did you fall for me? Don't worry, I'll step up for you.
Damn, okay.
Robo-Ky wins.
Yeah, Robo-Ky's a weird character. Mixed feelings on a lot of aspects of Robo-Ky, but again, I do think he's handled well in Strive. I was trying to think of other characters missing. Again, most of them are pretty niche at this point.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
Like, I don't know like, if we get a season 6, I think there will be a third guest character, unfortunately, because I don't think, like, Zappa, Kumheyun, and, like, Raven could sell a pass by themselves. I'm trying to think of anyone else they could, like, lump in. Like, in a way, because Robo-Ky and Jam were consistently the top pulling characters, I'm actually surprised to put them both together. They could have easily have split these two up, because people have been... They pulled so well on polls for, like, years, that I'm genuinely surprised that they just gave us both already. They easily could have split that up, and again, that's my issue with fighting games. That's my issue with, like, a lot of games nowadays, because guest characters are, like, unfortunately, the way of the future. These games gotta pay for themselves somehow. But, like, Street Fighter having 3 newbies and Tifa is, like, if the newbies are good, then hell yeah. Like, Yasmin seems like a good character from what we know, to the point that I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Oops. But there's still the small problem of if you, like, play Sakura, if you play Makoto, if you play Buki, if you play Rose, but not Vega. I'm trying to think of any other, like, really classic kind of Street Fighter characters. I feel like for the legacy characters, they've been focusing on the guys a lot. Cause, like, you know, Bison, Sagat, Alex. It's like, I feel like a lot of the female returning characters are the ones that are mostly missing now for Street Fighter. Which is interesting. But yeah, there's a large female roster that's still missing from SF6. But like, if you play any of those characters, you either find someone you like in the current game, or you don't play the game until that character comes out. Which, they might not ever add certain characters. So yeah, it's a very interesting situation to try to juggle adding new characters, while also appeasing the old audience and then appeasing a broader audience too. Tifa's the broad audience character, and again, I don't really care that much, which feels, again, wild to me as I really do enjoy Final Fantasy VII, so like, why am I so indifferent towards Tifa? I guess maybe it's like, if a game isn't hinged on guest characters, I don't care. When a guest character is being added into like a core roster, it just feels like a waste of a slot at a point. Not a waste per se, but it doesn't feel like... It feels like they could have added someone like else, but I get it, because you need to branch out. And like, people probably did play Lucy a lot in Strive. Even if I basically never did. I think I tried her in training mode once. I never even did her arcade mode. That's actually where the three chapter setup started, was with Lucy. It's kind of interesting how much they've been tweaking the style. Cause like in season 1 and also in the base roster, basically everyone fights Nago as the final boss. So it's with season 2 with Bridget where you first get Kai as a boss, and I think Sin might as well. Like Elfelt gets Faust, which Serena is very well acquainted with. Someone gets Testament, I'm pretty sure. Someone gets Ramlethal. No, Venom gets Ramlethal. Johnny, I think, might also have... I don't know who Johnny's final boss is actually. It might be Geo, but I may be wrong. It's been a bit since I've looked into all this. I don't think I ever did Johnny's story mode, to be blunt. You know, like Unica is a Sin, which makes sense. So yeah, it's like that was a big shift since like season 2, and then with season 4, end of season 4, they started pivoting towards, we're not doing the normal hard extreme, we're just doing one route. Divide into 3 chapters, and then basically don't have to worry about difficulty anymore. It's like a fixed difficulty as far as I know. Speaking of which, final boss time. I was trying to think of who the boss would be when Robo-Ky first released, and I saw it was Bedman, and it's like, you know what, that makes sense. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. For reasons that'll be obvious very shortly. They also recently tweaked this stage, I think, to be one of this. I think this is one of the stages they made run slightly better. Yeah, no, he should be saying that under the circumstances. So these two, as in original Badman, actually have history in Guilty Gear Xrd. Which, hey, you wanna know why Badman died? Yeah, about that. So yeah, a very interesting combo that I wouldn't have expected, but it actually makes a lot of sense. And again, they'll get into that probably, so I'm not gonna say too much too early. Also, guess who does not remember how to fight Bedman? I want to say a Bedman made like top 8 at like Combo Breaker, which was like considered a big deal. Like, oh my god. What the hell is happening in 2.0 basically is kind of how everyone's reacting. 2.0 was like a big shakeup, and like for the health of the game it's actually been pretty decent. Like the last several majors have had really healthy amounts of character diversity in terms of roster lineup. So for example, Street Fighter 6 has a problem of basically top 8s turning into either people playing Maishi or Nui or Sagat. And you occasionally have like a Ryu or like a Cammy in there, but it's mostly just Mai or Sagat at this point. So a lot of people find like top 8 for Street Fighter really boring to watch, believe it or not. Even though it's like the most entered, the most watched tournament, it's considered really tedious just seeing the same like 2 characters every major now. But yeah, conversely, Strive has actually had a lot of roster diversity in top 8s recently. Like, you get a ton of characters. You'll have like a Geo, a Leo, a Dizzy made top 8 at, I think, Combo Breaker, which was considered a huge deal. She didn't win, but like still making top 8 after Dizzy was considered like bottom tier the entire time. The player in question is considered just abnormally like good with Dizzy to the point of like no one understands how she does it. Myself included, I've watched videos and I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, but it's working for her, and I wish I could, you know, like lock in that much. Dizzy still has an uphill battle compared to like, you know, your Leos or your Nagos, but it's way better than it was, you know, at launch for the character. I mean, people joked about that before, like with Sin and Jacko both, where it's like it took them a season or 2 to actually become playable. Like there was a joke with a specific patch of like, oh, they finally added Sin to the game, because he was like really unviable for a bit. His like kit was really weirdly set up. I still think Dizzy could use like one more move, like potentially a close range. Like, I miss the bubble, but even when they add new moves to characters, they're not adding back old moves, they're coming up with new moves, which is an interesting strategy, I think. But in general, I do think Strive is in an okay place at the moment. Tekken is basically picking itself back up off the floor, because what is it? Season 2 was real bad, and then they're trying to turn things around with Season 3. Again, the Season 3 of Tekken and Season 5 of Strive were at around the same time. And I remember there were discussions about like the 2.0 patch still having some rough spots, like Testament mainly, and the Happy Chaos Infinite they patched out quickly. But just the overall feeling of like Tekken players I was seeing were very jealous that Strive's like 2.0 was like a really good like descale of everyone. And like that's like the whole point of discussion for a long time. I think I had this same ramble during the Jam playthrough now that I'm thinking about it. But like there was this whole discussion about like buffing characters is better than nerfing characters. Strive got to the point where everyone was so overtuned that they actually kind of had to reset a bit. So like this was kind of a nerf patch around the board, and it was honestly necessary because of just how bad the balance had gone. That's not great if we're dying on stage 8. We might be here for a bit at this rate. Hi, Delilah.
Ordinary dream. Sleep well.
Dreamlike reality. I've never actually paid attention to what it says. Rematch with lower difficulty. You set opponent's health to 1. That's a new option since season 5, I think, where they basically let you like skip ahead if you just want to see the story. I don't know if that lets you stay on extreme though. Attempt number 3. Again, weirdly enough though, whenever I do Dizzy's story, I always die a lot more on stage 8 than stage 9. It's really weird. I don't know why. Because stage 9 Abba should be harder, but for some reason I always struggle on stage 8 more. It feels like she just doesn't take much damage. Oh my god, that was close. Again, if I just could stop pressing wrong buttons, that would help a lot. Is that close enough? That's close enough, damn it. Yeah, the timing on that, like, juggle is really hard, actually. And also on low electricity gauge. That does not help. And you still... oh wait, I saw a burst. I was looking at the wrong screen. That could kill, actually. So I'm glad I blocked that. Yeah, I definitely would need to brush up a lot more. And again, also, frankly, with, like, past playthroughs like Jam, weirdly enough, muscle memory was actually to my detriment because of the moves being remapped so drastically that I literally didn't really get much of a benefit from playing Jam in 4 other games beforehand. Like, believe it or not, it was shockingly not helpful. Which is fascinating how much they just move stuff around to, in some ways, make it easier. For me, as someone with muscle memory, it actually makes it harder. Same with Dizzy, actually, where it's like, a lot of her moves were like, switched around to different spots. So she has a lot of the same moves, but in different places, and it's really hard going back and forth. Robo-Ky's moves are mostly in the same place, except for, again, the, like, dust changes mostly. Again, 22H being 2D originally. So yeah, mostly intact, in a way that, again, was surprising to me. And again, it makes me wonder, like, how Zappa would even play, because I have no frame of reference for Zappa in the older games, because I don't think I've ever played Zappa, seriously. Or non-seriously either, I don't think I've played him, period. Kinda like Robo-Ky, it's like, I don't remember ever even trying him. That was a misinput. I think I was trying to do back. I accidentally did a full circle. And you missed the circle, speaking of which, because that would be the song that would normally play for Bedman. That's probably a mistake, but it's fine. Shoot, that is definitely a mistake. I keep doing the flight move by accident. Well, almost. Finally.
You come in peace, huh? Weird thing to say while you're standing in our way.
No matter. Thanks to my cutting-edge technology, I transcend the pants off lowly humans. You're the younger sister of that bed's old occupant, aren't you, kiddo?
Stalker.
What? I am not. I fought against your brother, and we both left much worse for wear.
You did?
So, I've always wanted to talk with you. I know what he wished for in his final moments. Because he told me. Sheesh! Let go of the controls for 1 second, and machines go wild!
And, stage 9. Oh god. I'm in danger. This is gonna be hard, isn't it, if I'm struggling this much on the previous one. Yeah, the implication in the lore is that the spirit is still inhabiting the bed. But I don't know if that's ever actually officially confirmed anywhere. Also, again, I don't think the stage 9s in this case are as... Okay, I'll shut up now. Maybe this is harder. I don't remember you glowing red before, for example, so maybe this is harder. I'll explain why Chip was more obnoxious than usual, because I frankly don't like fighting Chip normally. That was a weird whiff. Again, genuinely don't remember the red glow, so maybe this is harder. But again, I don't think it's as hard as actual extreme, just because that'd be really bad when there's no difficulty options. Oh god. That might be blocked. We'll see. Oh, okay. It feels like Batman is also taking less damage right now, so yeah, maybe this is harder. Again, I just couldn't tell with Chip, because I struggle with Chip anyway. It's hard to tell regular Chip or busted Chip. It's like, why am I doing better? Maybe because I'm playing more cautiously. Serena's typing, what do you mean? He steals on his phone? Okay, you're gonna block everything. Okay, you're just gonna be a real asshole. Got it. Understood. Okay, I did not think I hit that button. And why are you at your computer? Oh, you know, that doesn't actually answer the question in this case. Again, I was like, this doesn't seem that bad, immediately loses. It's like, oh, I need to stop talking. I forget sometimes I'm very susceptible to jinxing. She wasn't there? Ah. Oh, she's okay. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what to do here, because this is a very hard fight with a character I don't know how to play. That's the other problem with the guest character, is like having to learn a brand new character, and yeah, this is just a mulligan at this point. Alright, let's try this again. Maybe lucky number 7. But like, if I do this, and then... Okay, that's actually too slow with the level of charge we have. Serena said 6-7, that tracks. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna do my damnedest to hold on to burst. Because if I can go into next round without that deficit, that will help a lot. And if I can force burst out of Bedman, that would also be good. But the CPU... Well, I guess that kind of helps. Again, the most damaging thing we have is grab, so hypothetically, if we want to be really cheap, we could just try this. Which I think is actually a recommended strategy for Stage 8 and Stage 9. Is to just chip out with grabs. Because I remember seeing a video of like Bridget and Kai where they just do that the entire time. It doesn't feel great to win that way, but it's an option.
Robo-Ky wins. Duel 2. Let's rock.
It's like I'm trying to at least learn the character a little bit, also because like learning the character helps me. Because then if you learn the character, then you can fight them better, in my opinion at least. I don't know if that is the case for everyone, but that is something I try, is to actually learn the character a little bit. If I'm serious about a game, to kind of understand what their moves actually do. Because then, you know, then that makes it easier to fight back if you have some understanding of what to actually do optimally against them. That's gonna hurt for a lot. Okay. Again, grabs are our best bet, unfortunately, which is just not the most exciting way to win. But hey, if it's what it takes, it's what it takes. I also have no energy, that's the actual problem. Because, like, on a boss, it's like, with a character I don't know, it's like trying to set up, trying to play a set play character. Like with Dizzy, I know what I'm doing enough that I can at least set down Ice Floor and everything. But with Robo-Ky, it's like, hell if I know when the best time to put down any of his setup moves is. Oh, that was the wrong button. That's not gonna kill unless the CPU's taking pity on me. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get massively countered. Yeah, saw that coming. Okay. Again, worst case, ow. You can just do this to wrap it up. Or not, you can just be an asshole. Okay, well, that wasn't the most gracious way to win, but hey, or graceful.
Feel like playing nice now.
I know that killing you won't avenge my brother. But still.
I only wanted to talk to you about him. And what he told me. Your brother would stop at nothing to make his dream come true. He was a true madman. Me, I dream big too. But my dream seemed minuscule to him. We argued our guts out. And his dream came true. He quit while he was ahead. I never got to prove how noble my dream was. But that's why we can have this little chat. And believe me, you're way more welcome than that sophist. Now I can accept defeat with dignity.
Chad, you've been yammering on this whole time.
Apologies, my lady. Now it's your turn to...
I don't have anything to say to you.
At least try.
Do you think I ever got to play with my brother? Like, run around outside with all the other kids? Huh? But I still love him.
I see.
All right, fine. Tell me the dream you couldn't tell my brother.
You sure? Well then. I dream of owning a huge tangerine grove!
A tangerine grove?
A mountain-sized one!
This region's not exactly fit for farming.
I've got a lead on the perfect plot of land. Thought I'd dive in blindly, did you?
I think you'll have more problems than that. But that's no reason to give up, I guess.
You're far more sensible and open-minded than your brother was. So, what's your dream?
It's a secret.
If you say so, then that's that, I suppose. The maiden's secrets are hers to keep. Very well. I'll send you some tangerines, special delivery. Share them with those who are close to you.
Wait, thank you?
This generosity stuff feels better than I thought.
How can you be generous with tangerines you don't have? Why don't you go off and get to farming already? If you really want to make my brother jealous someday.
So yeah, not exactly warm ending. Understandably so. Yeah, that's, again, basically tying into both Xrd with, again, the final confrontation between Bedman, Venom, and Robo-Ky, where Robo-Ky basically self-destructs his body to try to stop Bedman. And 2, why does he want to Grove so bad is the other question, and the general speculation I've seen is it actually ties into a Japan-only drama CD called Guilty Gear Night of Knives, if I recall correctly, mostly centering on the Assassin's Guild, but also having a side part that is centered on Robo-Ky befriending a Mark II Robo-Ky that's breaking down and wants to find like a tangerine to try to power itself back up. And then Kai shows up and ends up fighting them. So part of it's also because of wanting to have a Tangerine Grove in dedication to this Robo-Ky Mark II that shut down. At least that's my understanding of it from what I have read. So that's kind of crazy, actually, to tie into something that as a deep cut. And yeah, it's like they basically are trying to. He's just trying to save this Robo-Ky, and Kai shows up and like fights them, and then shuts down. So yeah, there's a lot of history with Kai and Robo-Ky, so it's again nice to have that kind of wrapped up. But also, Robo-Ky's dream is still relatively unresolved, which I think actually in a way makes sense, because you know, a lot of characters have their storylines resolved. Robo-Ky kind of doesn't, and it's like, it almost makes sense given that he doesn't seem like the most like efficient at actually getting to that point, but that he still has his own dreams and ambitions. So yeah, it was a case of, damn, I'm actually kind of surprised at how much I vibed with Robo-Ky's story. That final boss though was rough, and again, it makes me nervous about trying to commit to doing this with the other characters. As a reminder, given the next character is going to be a guest character this winter, I will likely not cover that one if it's anything like Lucy. If it's a character of interest to me, maybe I'll cover them, but more likely than not, the next time we'll be back with Strive on my streams for arcade mode is 2027, when the 4th character Season 5 drops, barring, again, like a really me-core character. Which I'm not expecting. Again, I'm expecting something to broaden this game's appeal to a general market. So yeah, I'm not exactly holding my breath on the character being like me-core. As much as I want it to be someone I enjoy, I've seen people be like, oh, a Final Fantasy character, and it's just like, on one hand, that makes sense, on the other hand, I'd be kind of bored by it. To be honest, I'd find it boring, because like, we're already getting Tifa. If it's like, you know, Vincent, it'd be kind of boring, even though aesthetically I think it'd fit. Though a lot of people also are like, is the font used in the announcement post a hint? And is that going to be like FF14, where it's like, if it's Ishtola, you might get me to care. But I don't think it's going to be Ishtola, or even a Final Fantasy XIV character. I think people are reading too much into a font choice. Well, but I guess we'll find out someday. Again, to me it's weird that they just didn't announce it at Anime Expo. When the hell are they gonna announce this is my question. Tokyo Game Show? That's like September. That's a ways off. And they say winter, which if it's anything like Dizzy means she probably... like, the character probably won't even be out for a long time. So yeah, it's harder also for me to get excited about a character that's that far out, and we still don't know. And again, I would have preferred an actual Guilty Gear character, because we're so close to having like a complete roster in this one game, which is actually really cool. Yeah, that takes care of that. Real quick, one thing we can actually check is, like we did with Jam, is you do have GG World, which is like the glossary of everything. So, for example, Baptisma 13. That is not the one I was thinking of. I don't know which one I was thinking of then. That X-Art's based on. But they added quite a bit here. They obviously added an entry for the idea of a robot body rental shop. But they also just do include like Robo-Ky Mark II. A little brief blurb. In terms of like, I don't even know where the hell this would be. I don't think it'd be a location. World? You can tell I haven't looked too deep into this. There's a lot to read. Yeah, during his travels in search of them, Robo-Ky met this friend. They parted ways after making an oath to build a Tangerine Grove. To learn more, check out the Night of Knives Volume 1 Drama CD, only available in Japanese audio. So yeah, that's the source on this. It's like, the in-game lore says, hey, listen to this. Oh shit, it's also only in Japanese. Oopsie. So yeah, fulfill a dream to fulfill a promise Robo-Ky made to an old friend. So yeah, that would be a specific Mark II, presumably. So yeah, that's Robo-Ky. Again, definitely hit harder than I thought it was gonna in a lot of ways. The theme also, too. Breath is a wild song and very fascinating. But yeah, we'll be back at some point, probably, to try out a character in this game. I don't know who it's gonna be, if it's gonna be the guest character, the final character of Season 5, but if it's also not a guest character, if it's a new character, I'd even be more interested. But anyway, that takes care of that for now.